Welcome to the channel. Today, we're dissecting a brilliant and uncompromising work of contemporary fiction. David Szalay's Flesh, also known as All That Man Is in Certain Territories. This isn't just a novel. It's a meticulously constructed catalog of the male experience, tracing life's full arc from eager youth to profound old age with unflinching realism. Szalay uses a unique and powerful structural device: 9 linked short stories, each focusing on a different man, chronologically spanning from his 20s to his 90s. This arrangement allows the book to explore the universal pressures, fleeting triumphs, and inevitable decay that define masculinity across different cultures and classes. We meet a diverse cast of characters: a restless Macedonian construction worker, a desperate English writer, a Canadian businessman facing bankruptcy, and a frail elderly Hungarian man, all fundamentally connected by the shared reality of being human. Flesh is raw, unsettling, and profoundly insightful. It asks the existential questions we often avoid. What remains of ambition, desire, and identity when confronted with the relentless march of time? It's a book that trades easy sentimentality for a stark, powerful realism, forcing the reader to confront their own future. We're going to break down the narrative structure that makes this book so powerful, analyze its core themes of desire, ambition, isolation, and mortality, and explore the unflinching honesty with which Szalay portrays the human condition across the European continent. But first, if you're ready for an intense look at the human experience, please hit that like button right now. Comment below with a single word that describes your biggest question about aging. And, as always, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our weekly deep dives into the most challenging and essential contemporary fiction. The genius of Flesh lies in its simple yet profoundly effective chronological structure. By moving sequentially through the decades, Szalay creates a panoramic, almost documentary-like view of male life. The 9 men are not related by blood, but by the shared, unavoidable burdens of their biological and social roles. The narrative structure creates a palpable sense of continuity and fatalism. Each new character seems to inherit the anxieties of the last, pushing the reader forward to witness the inevitable conclusion the men are all grappling with a central conflict that is acutely tied to their specific life stage. 20s. The hungry seeker. Defined by raw hunger for sex, money, and definition. These young men are often confused, financially strapped, and seeking validation through physical acts or superficial success in foreign cities. Their stories are marked by an unrefined, almost animalistic energy, where the body is at its peak and the mind is seeking direction. 30s and 40s, the balancing act. The years of compromise and crisis. Themes shift to marital strain, career exhaustion, and the dawning realization of limited potential. The midlife characters desperately attempt to recapture lost youth or find external meaning through heightened ambition, often engaging in reckless behavior or emotional infidelity as a means of escape. This stage highlights the dissonance between youthful expectation and difficult reality. 50s and 60s, the confrontation. The body is now a source of anxiety, not confidence. Health scares begin to feature prominently. These men are often divorced or alienated, facing the profound loneliness that comes from a life built on professional success but emotional neglect. They begin the long, difficult process of reckoning with the choices they made. 70s to 90s, the diminished man. The final stories are tender, yet devastating, meditations on loss and mortality. Physical frailty dominates loved ones vanish, and the central struggle becomes the preservation of dignity, the management of pain, and the overwhelming feeling of isolation as the world speeds away from them. The cumulative effect of this design is staggering. Reading the book feels like experiencing the full, accelerating weight of time, with each man's life serving as a stark, silent premonition for the next. Szalay's title, Flesh, is the book's thematic anchor. The book is intensely focused on the male body as the ultimate, inescapable reality. Stripping away all social pretenses, Szalay chronicles its physical demands and its eventual humiliating decay with a clinical, unsparing eye that forces the reader into uncomfortable intimacy with the characters. The text is deeply sensual, exploring the relentless nature of sexual desire as a powerful, sometimes destructive force across the lifespan. It's rarely depicted as a romantic pursuit. It is frequently transactional, motivated by a desperate need for validation or a temporary escape from existential dread. Szalay shows how the pursuit of sex transforms from a confident act in youth to a more complicated, sometimes awkward, and often futile struggle for simple human contact in later years. For Szalay, the body is the primary measure of a man's life. It is the site of both pleasure and pain, and as the flesh begins to fail, so too does the character's connection to the world and his sense of identity. The gradual physical decline acts as a metaphor for the slow erosion of hope and possibility. Beneath the physical urges and the pursuit of external success, the book reveals a deep, pervasive isolation. These men are universally terrible at articulating their emotional needs, defaulting instead to stoicism, anger, or silent withdrawal. Szalay highlights the paradox of modern masculinity. The societal pressure to be independent, strong, and emotionally contained creates a profound difficulty in forming genuine intimacy. Even those in marriages or with children feel fundamentally alone. The characters' frequent international travel and rootlessness only heighten this sense of existential solitude. They are tourists in their own lives and the lives of those they love. This lack of genuine connection, Szalay suggests, is the highest price paid for adhering to a narrow definition of what a man should be. As the men age, their stories become saturated with regret. They look back at the past not with soft nostalgia, but with a painful, clear-eyed understanding of missed opportunities, moments of moral cowardice, and the true cost of prioritizing ambition over genuine human connection. A powerful thread throughout the book is the ephemeral nature of worldly success. Men who achieved power, wealth, or professional recognition find their achievements utterly meaningless when faced with the cold reality of their physical and biological limits. The money can't buy back health. The status can't prevent the decay. The most painful regrets, Szalay shows, are consistently about the relationships they failed to nurture or the emotional intimacy they sacrificed at the altar of ambition. The characters serve as living proof that the professional roles men inhabit are just temporary costumes. When the uniform is stripped away by illness or retirement, what remains is the simple, fragile, human self. The final chapters are the book's most profound and moving, centering entirely on mortality and dignity. Szalay explores the various ways men cope with the looming end, from defiant denial to quiet, exhausted resignation. The final stories, depicting men in their 80s and 90s, showcase the extreme isolation of very old age, the struggle for dignity in institutional care, and the profound human need to be seen and acknowledged one last time before fading away. The narrative concludes with a sense of quiet devastation, affirming that the ultimate challenge of life is not to triumph, but to find some measure of peace and acceptance in a story that, biologically, ends in silence and oblivion. The enduring lesson of flesh is that we are all on this same relentless clock, defined by the cumulative weight of our small choices and the ultimate, shared fragility of the body. David Salay's Flesh is a literary tour de force, a masterpiece of structure and psychological realism that strips away the pretense of modern life to reveal the vulnerable, striving, and ultimately fragile essence of human experience. It is a necessary, challenging, and unforgettable book. It reminds us that our bodies are our destiny, and the search for meaning is a lifelong, relentless project that ends the same way for us all. If this deep dive into the human condition left you feeling profoundly introspective, please hit that like button right now. Comment below and share your final thought. What is the most important lesson the young man in his 20s could learn from the man in his 90s? And for more comprehensive analyses of the greatest contemporary novels that dare to tackle the big questions, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next analysis.